Welcome back to Premium Car Reviews, the channel where we take the future for a test drive. Today, we're diving into one of the most anticipated luxury EVs of the decade, the all-new 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class EV. Mercedes says this isn't just an electric version of the C-Class. It's a ground-up reinvention built on the brand-new MMA architecture, a compact luxury sedan designed from scratch for the electric era. In this full-length deep dive, we're going far beyond the surface. We'll explore the exterior styling, analyze every curve, and see how Mercedes blended aerodynamics with their latest design philosophy. Then we'll step inside the cabin to inspect materials, craftsmanship, technology, and the new generation MBUX interface that promises to make luxury feel intelligent, not complicated. And of course, we'll break down the performance: motors, batteries, range, charging speeds, suspension, and what this car truly feels like on the road. Design is the first statement this car makes, and the C-Class EV comes with a sculpted, futuristic presence that instantly separates it from the previous generation. You'll see fewer sharp creases and more fluid surfaces, highlighted by a closed front fascia, a digital LED signature, and a silhouette shaped not just for beauty, but for efficiency. These are the details that separate a premium EV from a generic one, and we're going to examine every inch. Inside, Mercedes brings S-Class level technology into a smaller, more accessible package. The wraparound cockpit, the OLED displays, the voice-controlled MBUX 3.0 system, and the new zero-layer interface are all designed to be smarter, cleaner, and more intuitive than ever. But luxury isn't only about screens. It's about how materials feel to the touch, how the lighting shapes the atmosphere, and how the cabin holds up in everyday use. In this review, you'll see what's genuinely premium and what might just be marketing. We'll also put charging to the test because numbers on paper rarely tell the full story. With multiple battery options and fast charging capability, the C-Class EV promises strong real-world range and convenience. Features like vehicle-to-home and vehicle-to-load add versatility that many EV buyers now expect. We'll explore how this car performs in real-world conditions and how quickly it recovers range when plugged in. And of course, we'll drive it. The C-Class has always been about balance: comfort without boredom, sport without harshness. The electric version brings a lower center of gravity, adaptive suspension, rear-wheel steering, and multiple drive modes that reshape how the car behaves on the road. We'll test acceleration, cornering, noise insulation, and long-distance comfort to see if this EV still carries the soul of a Mercedes. Technology and safety also take a leap forward. Mercedes is leaning into higher-level autonomous capabilities, and this car is equipped with the hardware for advanced hands-off features where regulations allow. We'll walk through the functions available today and the updates that may arrive later through over-the-air software. Practicality matters just as much as performance. We'll look at passenger space, rear comfort, storage, and the overall usability of the cabin, because luxury means nothing if the car doesn't work for your daily life. Whether it's commuting, family trips, or long weekends on the highway, this review will show how the C-Class EV fits into real-world routines. We'll also talk pricing, trim levels, and where the C-Class EV stands in a market full of strong rivals. From BMW's Neue class sedans to Audi's e-tron lineup to Tesla's latest upgrades, competition is fierce. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how Mercedes positions this model and whether it delivers enough value to earn a place at the top of the compact luxury EV segment. If you enjoy detailed, in-depth automotive reviews, make sure to subscribe and join our community of enthusiasts who want more than just surface impressions. And if you have questions or want to see specific tests later in the video, drop them in the comments. We always incorporate viewer requests into future reviews. Alright, let's not waste any more time. Let's walk around the car, examine every exterior feature, and break down the design philosophy behind the 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class EV. Let's get started. As we begin our walk around the 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class EV, the very first thing that stands out is how Mercedes has evolved its design language into something smoother, cleaner, and more futuristic. The brand calls it sensual purity, but in this latest interpretation, it feels even more refined, almost sculpted by airflow rather than drawn by hand. The moment you approach the car, you sense that every line, every surface, and every contour was shaped with intention. This isn't the old C-Class wearing an EV mask. This is a model born electric. From the front, the C-Class EV immediately reveals its new identity. There's no traditional grille here. Instead, you get a seamless closed-off panel with a star pattern illumination that comes alive at night. It glows subtly, not aggressively, signaling that this is a premium EV rather than a loud statement piece. The headlights, redesigned with Mercedes Digital Light 2.0 technology, look like precision instruments. Each housing contains millions of micromirrors capable of projecting adaptive patterns onto the road, and the daytime running light signature gives the car a slightly narrowed, purposeful expression. Even the lower fascia is crafted with a minimalist touch, featuring slim air channels that open or close based on cooling needs. Walking around the front corners, you notice how the hood gently slopes into the fenders without any harsh intersections. Mercedes has removed unnecessary creases, allowing the reflections on the paint to glide smoothly across the body. It's the kind of simplicity that looks expensive, the type of design where less truly becomes more. Move along the side profile and the transformation becomes even more apparent. The wheelbase has been stretched by a few centimeters compared to the previous C-Class, giving this EV a longer, more planted stance. The roofline flows in a coupe-like arc, and the absence of exhaust pipes allows the rear proportions to be more athletic and compact. The frameless doors are a standout touch, giving the car an air of elegance usually reserved for higher-tier models. Hidden flush door handles glide outward as you approach the car, helping reduce drag while adding a futuristic charm. Speaking of drag, Mercedes worked hard to make this one of the most aerodynamic sedans in its class, targeting a coefficient around 0.22. You see the proof in the small details: the tapered side mirrors, the subtle flare of the rear haunch, and the carefully shaped underbody. Even the wheel designs contribute: low turbulence alloy wheels in 19 and 20-inch sizes with a turbine-inspired look. These wheels don't just look sharp, they help reduce wind resistance and improve range. The side windows are trimmed with clean aluminum or gloss black surrounds depending on the trim, and if you look closely at the roof, you'll spot the panoramic glass panel stretching nearly the full length of the cabin. Mercedes has refined the proportions so that nothing feels oversized or bulky. Everything is balanced, controlled, and refined. Arriving at the rear of the C-Class EV, the design becomes even more expressive. The full-width OLED taillight bar is one of its most striking features. It illuminates with a sharp, precise animation when you unlock the car, giving it a signature look instantly recognizable at night. The lights themselves taper outward, visually widening the car and giving the rear a stronger, more confident stance. The trunk lid slopes subtly forward, blending seamlessly with the lighting strip and forming a clean, premium finish. Down below, instead of exhaust pipes, you get a smooth, aerodynamic diffuser that hints at performance without pretending to be something it's not. The rear bumper is sculpted to keep airflow attached as long as possible, reducing turbulence. On the left rear quarter panel, the charging port is positioned for convenience, surrounded by an illuminated ring that pulses while charging. It's a thoughtful touch, especially useful at night or in poorly lit garages. Color choices play a major role in how this car presents itself. The classic blacks, whites, and silvers are still available, but Mercedes has added EV-exclusive shades like graphite gray metallic and the standout rose gold option often reserved for AMG line EV buyers. Under direct sunlight, these paints show depth, with metallic flakes that shift subtly as you walk around the car. It's clear that Mercedes invested effort into making sure the EV variant feels more premium and futuristic in tone than the standard combustion model ever did. Step back a few meters and the entire silhouette begins to read like a unified shape. That's the magic of this design. Every surface flows into the next. The proportions feel right, the stance feels composed, and the subtle details, like the flush badges, the tight panel gaps, and the smooth transitions make the car feel expensive without needing any aggressive flair. Mercedes didn't try to make this sedan look like a spaceship. They made it look like the next natural evolution of their luxury DNA. As you circle the car, you also start noticing how much the lighting defines its character. The front star pattern gently brightens as you approach. The rear OLED bar animates in a crisp wave. Even the side markers and ambient perimeter lighting add a layer of sophistication. The C-Class EV feels alive, as if the lighting elements are an extension of its personality. Overall, the exterior of the 2026 C-Class EV feels like the beginning of a new chapter for Mercedes. Clean, modern, disciplined, and unmistakably premium. It's a sedan designed to look timeless, not trendy, something that will still feel contemporary 10 years from now. This is the kind of design that earns its place in the luxury segment not through flash, but through elegance and engineering precision. As we transition inside the 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class EV, the atmosphere immediately shifts from futuristic exterior minimalism to a cabin that feels warm, intelligent, and unquestionably premium. Opening the frameless doors reveals a cockpit designed to impress even before you sit down. The moment you slide into the driver's seat, you're greeted by a wraparound environment that blends technology with craftsmanship in a way that only Mercedes seems to consistently master. The dashboard stretches from door to door in a continuous sweep, and at its center sits the large vertical OLED display, framed like a floating glass tablet. It doesn't dominate the cabin in an intrusive way. Instead, it rises naturally from the center console, angled slightly toward the driver for a cockpit-like feel. Above it, the digital instrument cluster floats elegantly behind a curved glass panel, offering crisp animations, deep blacks, and customizable layouts. Everything glows with a sense of precision. Nothing looks cheap, nothing feels like an afterthought. Mercedes calls this environment the zero-layer experience, meaning you're never more than one touch away from key functions. But what's impressive is how the car anticipates your intentions. If you're heading toward a known location, navigation surfaces automatically. Open the windows, and the climate panel appears. It's intelligent without being intrusive, the kind of tech you can live with daily without feeling overwhelmed. The materials throughout the cabin tell another story, a story of craftsmanship and attention to detail. Depending on the trim you choose, you'll find Nappa leather, microfiber, sustainable Artico leather, or optional vegan materials that feel surprisingly luxurious. Mercedes has become one of the leaders in creating interiors that combine eco-friendly materials with premium textures, and it shows. The door panels, for example, blend soft-touch padding with metallic accents and laser-cut wood or aluminum trim. The textures vary in a way that keeps the cabin visually interesting and tactily satisfying. Every control you touch delivers a soft, confident click. The steering wheel's metal paddles, the seat adjustment switches carved into the door, the integrated speaker grills from Burmester, everything feels sculpted with intention. Speaking of Burmester, the 4D audio system in the C-Class EV is one of the most immersive experiences you'll find in a sedan at this level. Not only do the speakers deliver crystal clarity, but the seat-mounted resonators add a subtle physical sensation to the bass frequencies. It's not gimmicky. It enhances the depth and realism of your music or even the sound of navigation prompts. Ambient lighting plays a major role in the cabin's ambience. With 64 colors, and even more when paired with multi-tone modes, the lighting brings the entire interior to life at night. Strips run along the dashboard, flow through the doors, wrap around the center console, and highlight the footwells. The lighting reacts to temperature changes, driving modes, and even voice commands. If you activate "Hey Mercedes," the lighting sweeps toward the speaker panel as if the car is listening. It's playful, elegant, and deeply immersive. The front seats deserve special attention. They're sculpted to support long-distance comfort with a blend of soft cushioning and firm bolstering. Heating, cooling, and optional massage functions transform the front cabin into a relaxed environment for extended journeys. The stitching is neat, the perforation patterns feel modern, and the integrated headrests give the seats a sporty, unified look. Move your attention to the rear seats, and you'll notice that the benefits of the MMA-platform become clear. With a slightly longer wheelbase and a flat floor, rear passengers enjoy more legroom than in the previous generation. The roofline, while coupe-like, maintains enough headroom for adults. The rear bench is supportive, with a subtle recline that feels natural rather than upright or cramped. Optional features like heated rear seats, additional climate vents, and soft pillows elevate comfort to near executive levels. Storage is well thought out too. The center console has a sliding cover that hides dual cup holders and a wireless charging pad. The door bins are spacious enough to hold bottles and small bags. You get clever spaces under the center bridge for small items, and the glove box is decently large. Even though the battery pack sits beneath the floor, Mercedes has preserved a usable trunk, making this sedan practical for both daily use and longer road trips. The panoramic roof is another standout feature. Expanding nearly the full length of the cabin, it floods the space with natural light during the day and enhances the sense of spaciousness. At night, with the ambient lighting glowing softly, the glass roof creates a calm and open environment. The glass can shift between transparent and tinted states thanks to an electrochromic system, letting you adjust brightness without relying solely on a mechanical shade. Technology integration feels thoughtful rather than forced. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connect seamlessly. The car supports 5G for fast data, real-time navigation updates, and streaming capabilities. There's even integration with smart homes, allowing you to control lights or thermostats directly from the car. This isn't technology for the sake of it, it's tech designed to enhance daily life. The driving position is classic Mercedes, relaxed yet commanding. Visibility is excellent thanks to slim A-pillars and a dashboard that doesn't sit too high. The steering wheel feels substantial, with touch controls that react to swipes or light taps. Thankfully, Mercedes has refined its touch-sensitive approach so that accidental inputs are far less common than before. Everything feels more deliberate. Even the smaller details deserve recognition. The air vents have a turbine-like design with metal finishing rings. The start-stop button glows with a soft pulse, waiting for the driver to bring the cabin to life. The carpet quality, the stitching alignment, the rubberized surfaces inside the storage compartments, and the tightness of panel gaps reflect a standard of engineering that justifies the premium badge. The cabin of the 2026 C-Class EV feels like a sanctuary, quiet, refined, and deeply considered. This is where Mercedes excels. There are luxury cars that try to impress with flashy designs or oversized screens, but the C-Class EV impresses with restraint, harmony, and intelligence. It's a cabin built not just to look good in photos, but to feel exceptional every time you sit inside. Whether you're commuting, taking a long journey, or just sitting in your driveway setting up navigation, the interior experience is consistently premium, modern, and unmistakably Mercedes. So let's talk about where this thing really flexes its muscles, the performance side. And honestly, the 2026 C-Class EV is kind of wild because Mercedes built this whole setup on their brand new MMA platform, the Mercedes modular architecture, which is basically their next-gen foundation for compact luxury EVs. And you can feel that right away. This isn't some electric version of a gasoline car situation. Nah, this thing was engineered from day one as an EV, and you feel that in the rigidity, the balance, and the way it handles bumps and corners. The battery pack is integrated directly into the structure, so the whole chassis stiffens up like a skateboard frame. Lower center of gravity, beefier torsional rigidity, it just feels planted, like the car is hugging the road even before you start doing anything stupid with it. Mercedes gives you two battery flavors depending on how you roll. The base model gets a 65 kilowatt-hour LFP pack. LFP chemistry is all about longevity and efficiency. You can beat on it daily, charge it a ton, and it's chill. Range comes in around 450 to 520 kilometers, which in US translation is roughly 280 to like 323 miles. But if you're the I never want to see a charger type, they got you with the long-range setup, an 83 kilowatt-hour NCM pack. Higher energy density, more punch, more everything. That one pushes the range past the 600-kilometer mark, so like 372 miles plus. Easily road trip ready. Now the motors. This part's actually super interesting because Mercedes is going with that clean, split trim approach. So the first one is the C300 electron-volts, rear-wheel drive, pushing around 215 kilowatts, or roughly 288 horsepower. That's already plenty for daily drives, highway merges, whatever. Smooth, instant torque, classic EV sauce. Then if you want to step it up, the C400 4MATIC EV brings the dual-motor all-wheel drive setup with about 250 kilowatts, which lands around 335 horsepower. And that one just feels grippier, punchier, like the car's more down to party when you lean into it. But the real troublemaker here, the one that's going to get people talking, is the AMG C43 EV. Mercedes hasn't locked the numbers down officially, but all the industry whispers put it around 385 kilowatts, which is like 515 horsepower. And in an EV with instant torque? Bro, that's nasty. That's the one where you accidentally tap the pedal and suddenly your Starbucks cup is in the back seat wondering what just happened. And yeah, the acceleration reflects that. The C300 electron-volts should pull 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 6.1 seconds. Quick enough to remind you it's not messing around. The C400 electron-volts drops that to about 5.2 seconds. And the AMG? That one's expected to hit 100 in about 3.9 seconds. That is sports car territory, no discussion. And because it's electric, it's not even doing it with drama, it's just gone, like a slingshot. Charging performance is another big W for this car. The MMA-platform supports 800-volt architecture, which means this thing can gulp down electricity stupid fast. Up to 270 kilowatts of DC fast charging, so you're looking at 10% to 80% in roughly 18 to 22 minutes. That's basically enough time to take a bathroom break, grab a drink, scroll TikTok for a minute, and boom, you're back on the road. Mercedes is also jumping into the whole V2L and V2H movement. So, if you want to power your tools, plug in a laptop during a camping trip, charge somebody else's EV out of pity, or even feed energy back into your house during an outage. Yeah, the C-Class EV can do that. This stuff used to sound futuristic, but now it's just, yeah sure, my car's a power bank the size of a living room. Driving dynamics though, this is where the C-Class EV feels like a proper Mercedes again. It uses the new e-ride adaptive air suspension system, which is smooth as butter when you want comfort, but stiffens up when you push it. Plus, they brought rear-wheel steering into this segment, up to 4 degrees of turn. It makes the car feel way more agile at low speeds, like you're whipping a smaller car around a parking lot. Then at high speeds it tightens up your stability. Add the low center of gravity from that battery slab and the whole car feels calm, steady, cushioned, very Mercedes, but with EV sharpness baked in. And because EVs can sometimes get noisy with wind and tire sounds, Mercedes doubled down on NVH. Acoustic glass, extra insulation, better sealing. Inside the cabin it's stupid quiet. Like luxury SUV quiet. You can whisper gossip and the person in the back seat will still catch it. When it comes to drive modes, they kept it simple and familiar. Eco mode dials everything back so the car sips energy like it's trying to win a contest. Comfort mode is that classic Mercedes glide, smooth throttle, soft damping, relaxed steering. Sport mode sharpens the whole thing, stiffens the suspension, and gives you quicker throttle response. Then you've got individual mode, where you can tune everything the way you like it. And of course, on the AMG version, you get AMG Dynamic Plus, which basically tells the car, hey, don't hold back, let's get weird. Braking and regen tech have leveled up too. You get 3 levels of regenerative braking, so you can choose whether you want a coasting vibe or something more aggressive. There's even a legit one-pedal mode that lets you drive without touching the brake most of the time. Great for city cruising. And Mercedes has this predictive Reagan thing going on. The car uses its cameras, sensors, and even navigation data to automatically adjust Reagan when you're approaching traffic, curves, or intersections. Feels crazy at first, but once you get used to it, it's smooth and smart. Overall, the C-Class EV isn't trying to be a Tesla killer or some tech demo. It's doing its own Mercedes luxury sport thing, but now with EV torque and future-proof engineering. Fast where it needs to be, comfy everywhere else, efficient, quiet, clean, and loaded with new tech that actually makes sense in real driving. It's honestly shaping up to be one of the best all-rounder electric sedans in the compact luxury space. And yeah, it feels like a proper Benz while doing it. Now let's get into the part that really shows how far Mercedes is pushing the future with this thing. The tech, the brains of the whole operation. Because yeah, the C-Class EV looks good, drives good, hits hard with performance, but the tech? Bro, this is where it gets seriously next level. Mercedes is basically treating this car like a rolling computer that just happens to be comfy, quiet, and fast. One of the biggest flexes here is the autonomous system. Mercedes is bringing their Drive Pilot Level 3 capability to more models, and the 2026 C-Class EV is expected to be one of the smaller cars in their lineup to rock it. And Level 3 is a big deal. It's not just hands-off for a few seconds, it's legit, the car is responsible to driving, but only in supported regions and under specific conditions. Think smoother highways, well-mapped areas, and speeds up to around 110 kilometers per hour, which is like 68 miles per hour. When it's active, you can literally take your hands off, lean back, check your messages, or scroll Spotify playlists without feeling guilty. The system manages speed, distance, lane positioning, the whole package. And when it needs you again, it gives you a heads up instead of freaking out. The highway assist part of this is super refined. Adaptive Cruise keeps your distance perfectly, the lane centering is buttery smooth, not that twitchy ping-pong vibe some systems have, and the smart lane change is clean as hell. Hit the indicator and the car checks traffic, waits for the gap, and boom, slides into the lane like it's choreographed. You feel it working with confidence, not second-guessing or hesitating. It's honestly the closest most people will get to self-driving for a while, and Mercedes is doing it with style, not with beta disclaimers popping up every 5 minutes. Now safety. You know Mercedes doesn't play around here. This car is basically a fortress wrapped in leather and pixels. You get 9 airbags as standard, positioned to protect you in basically any scenario short of a meteor landing on the hood. The active steering assist helps keep you from drifting, especially on long drives where your brain starts going into autopilot mode. Then there's vehicle exit warning, which is one of those small but genius features. If you're parked and you go to open the door while a cyclist or car is coming in the blind spot area, the car's like, "Yo, chill," and warns you. Saves lives, saves door panels, saves insurance pain, all good things. Autonomous emergency braking also gets beefed up. It's not just straight-line braking anymore. The cross-traffic capability is clutch. So if someone shoots across the intersection when you're rolling forward, or a pedestrian pops out between cars, the system reacts faster than you can. It's not just stopping, it's predicting, analyzing, and acting based on what's around you. These modern Mercedes cars low-key have better situational awareness than half the drivers on the road, and I'm not even joking. But the real secret sauce is the software game. Mercedes is going full digital ecosystem with this thing. Over-the-air updates are constant, not just bug fixes, but legit feature add-ons. Maps get smarter, the ADAS system gets new tricks, your entertainment setup evolves, and the UI keeps getting smoother. You don't have to wait 3 years and buy a facelift model just to get the new features. They drop straight into your car like phone updates. And yeah, Mercedes is leaning into subscriptions too. Love it or hate it. Some features are included, and some are pay to activate. Enhanced navigation is one of them. It unlocks better route planning, real-time hazard detection, and more precise EV charging stops. Then you've got the performance boost mode. It's literally a software unlock that gives you extra power. So imagine buying a car and then paying a little extra per month to make it faster. It sounds wild, but that's the direction the whole industry's going. And if you're petty about winter like I am, there's even a heated steering wheel unlock. Your car has the hardware sitting there, and Mercedes is like, "You want the warm hands? Say less. But also, give us $10. But as weird as the subscription world is, Mercedes actually does it in a way that doesn't feel scammy. They still give you a ton of features out of the box. The big stuff, safety, OTA updates, ADAS features, all included. The optional stuff is more like nice-to-have upgrades for people who want that extra polish. And because the car's software-first design is baked in from day one, everything feels smooth and tightly integrated. The sensors talk to the cameras talk to the NAV system talks to the car's brain, and the car's brain keeps everything aware of what everything else is doing. No lag, no jank, no Frankenstein wiring. The whole experience just feels premium, like the tech is working for you instead of you trying to figure out what button does what. You also get that long-term ownership peace of mind because the C-Class EV isn't going to age the way old cars do. With continuous OTA updates, the car legitimately gets better over time. Safer, smarter, more efficient, like having a living product instead of a static machine. And that's the biggest shift with these new Mercedes EVs. They're not selling you a car, they're selling you a platform that keeps evolving. Put all of this together, the Level 3 capability, all the safety layers, the OTA updates, subscription options, the whole connected ecosystem, and you realize the C-Class EV isn't just stepping into the future, it's dragging the compact luxury segment forward with it. It feels like you're driving something ahead of its time, something that's already living in 2030 while the rest of the segment is still catching up. And for a smaller Benz? That's a massive flex. Now let's zoom out for a minute and talk about where the C-Class EV fits into Mercedes' bigger picture. Because this car isn't just another model update. This thing is basically the kickoff for an entirely new era inside the company. The 2026 C-Class EV is the first major wave riding on Mercedes' MMA-platform. That's the Mercedes modular architecture, and you're going to see this architecture shaping the brand's compact luxury lineup for the rest of the decade. The C-Class EV isn't just important, it's the blueprint, the prototype of what Mercedes wants the future of compact luxury EVs to look and feel like. The whole idea behind MMA is flexibility. Mercedes wanted a platform that could support cheaper battery chemistry like LFP but still handle high-performance NCM packs, all while keeping weight low and efficiency high. And starting with the C-Class EV makes total sense. This is one of the company's global bread-and-butter models. If they get this car right, everything that follows becomes easier. It's kinda like Mercedes laying the foundation for the next 10 years of smaller EVs, and the C-Class is the pilot project. And boy, they're not stopping at one. Right after the C-Class EV lands, you'll see a big wave of new models riding the same MMA tech. First up is the 2027 CLA EV, which Mercedes has already teased as this sleek, aerodynamic, hyper-efficient little four-door coupe. It's supposed to be their electric hypermiler, almost like a baby EQE but way more range-focused. After that, the 2027 GLA EV slides into the mix, the compact crossover for people who want the height, the practicality, and the city-friendly size without going full EQB. And then rounding out the early MMA lineup is the 2028 GLB EV, which is basically your small three-row family SUV but electrified, modernized, and smarter than ever. So when you look at the roadmap, the C-Class EV is literally the first domino. Mercedes is setting the tone and then rolling the formula straight right through their compact lineup: sedan, coupe, crossover, and family SUV. MMA is gonna be everywhere. Now in terms of where this thing sits in the market, Mercedes is definitely stepping into a very competitive ring. You've got the BMW i3 sedan based on the Neue class architecture, and that thing is BMW's pride and joy right now. It's futuristic, super clean inside, crazy efficient, and definitely coming hard at this segment. Then Audi's tossing the A4 e-tron into the mix, which is basically their luxury EV sedan designed to challenge the C-Class head-on with their minimalist interior and quattro performance. And you already know Tesla's Model 3 is lurking in the background. The refreshed version is lighter, quieter, more efficient, and it still dominates the EV conversation whether you like it or not. Add in Polestar with the Polestar 3, which leans more premium Scandinavian style with tech-forward vibes, and yeah, the compact luxury EV space is fully stacked. There are no easy wins here. But here's the thing. Mercedes isn't trying to outrun everyone on spec sheets alone. The C-Class EV is meant to be the luxury-first option. They're not selling you max range or fastest charging as the main highlight, even though it does those things well. They're selling refinement, software polish, craftsmanship, and that Mercedes feel that Tesla and Polestar don't really chase. It's Mercedes saying, you want comfort? You want quietness? You want a car that feels like a mini S-Class? Cool, we'll give you that. They're playing a different game, and honestly, there's space for that. What makes the C-Class EV extra important is the long-term mission. Mercedes has already said they're aiming for roughly 70% of their lineup to be fully electric by 2030, and the MMA family is a massive part of that plan. These smaller EVs will be cheaper to build, easier to scale globally, and more accessible for buyers who want a luxury EV but don't want to drop EQE or EQS money. The C-Class EV basically becomes the volume electric luxury sedan, the car that introduces millions of people to what an electric Mercedes feels like. And when you think about the brand strategy, that's huge. It's the gateway EV, the bridge between the old-school combustion C-Class that's been around forever and the new upcoming world where most Mercedes sedans won't even have an engine. This car has to hit the perfect balance between price, performance, tech, and luxury. It needs to feel premium but approachable, high-tech but not overwhelming, futuristic but still familiar. And because of that, the C-Class EV is going to shape how people perceive electric Mercedes models for years to come. Mercedes is also using this model to shift away from the EQ naming scheme. The C-Class EV isn't called EQC Sedan or EQC Class. They're blending EVs back into the mainstream lineup. That's intentional. They don't want electric cars to feel like a separate category anymore. They want EVs to just be Mercedes. Period. No special badge, no separate family, no over-the-top branding. Just the next step in the evolution. And this is where the long-term vision gets interesting. Mercedes wants to use the C-Class EV to gently transition buyers who might be hesitant. People know the C-Class name. They trust it. They've seen it for decades. So giving them a version that's electric but still feels like a C-Class? That's how you ease the market into change without scaring anyone off. In the bigger picture, the C-Class EV is designed to be the entry point for the brand's luxury EV experience, but not a stripped-down one. They aren't cutting corners. They aren't making it feel budget Benz. They want you to get in and immediately feel like, oh yeah, this is a Benz, but with a twist. That's the whole strategy. And when you combine all these pieces, the MMA-platform rollout, the expanding compact EV lineup, the competition heating up, and the global shift toward electrification, the C-Class EV ends up being a cornerstone of Mercedes' entire electric future. It's not the fanciest car they sell, it's not the fastest, but strategically, it's one of the most important. It's the car that opens the door to the 2030 vision. So yeah, the C-Class EV is more than just a new model. It's the spark that sets the whole MMA revolution in motion, the car that will influence how millions of people experience electric Mercedes vehicles, and the one that sets the stage for a decade of innovation, refinement, and electric luxury done the Mercedes way. So as we bring everything together, let's talk about what the 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class EV really represents. Because yeah, on the surface it's easy to say, oh, it's just the electric version of the C-Class, but once you actually dive in, once you feel the design, the tech, the performance, and the intention behind this car, you start to realize this thing is way more than that. This isn't a conversion. This isn't Mercedes slapping a battery under an existing model. This is a full-blown shift toward what Mercedes wants the future of luxury to be. And honestly, they nailed the vibe. They didn't chase crazy shapes or edgy quirks just to scream, "Hey look, I'm electric." Instead, they kept that clean, premium, grown-up Mercedes look and enhanced it with modern aero, slick lighting, and a more refined silhouette. You walk around it and it feels calm, confident, and expensive, exactly what a Benz should feel like. It's the kind of design that ages well, not one that looks outdated in 3 years. Slide inside and you instantly get why people pay for Mercedes. The interior is where the brand flexes the hardest. The lighting, the displays, the stitching, the materials. All of it hits that sweet spot of futuristic but still warm and familiar. The tech blends into the cabin instead of screaming for attention. You don't feel like you're sitting inside a science project. You feel like you're in a luxury sedan that just so happens to be electric. Performance-wise, the C-Class EV brings that smooth, quiet, instant torque magic that EVs are known for, but with Mercedes tuning that makes everything feel controlled, balanced, and super refined. The power delivery is clean. The ride quality is buttery. The steering is crisp, especially with the rear-wheel steering helping you whip through tighter turns like the car's smaller than it actually is. And the battery layout keeping the weight low just adds more confidence. Whether you're cruising the highway or carving through the city, the car feels planted and mature. Then you have the tech man. This is where the C-Class EV really goes all in. Mercedes didn't hold back. The Level 3 autonomous capability, the predictive regen, the AI-driven software stack, the crazy OTA ecosystem, the subscription add-ons for more power or upgraded features. This thing is basically a rolling tech platform built for long-term growth. You're not just buying the car as it is today. You're buying the updates it'll get tomorrow, next year, and even 5 years from now. That's the point. The car stays fresh, relevant, and ahead of the curve. But the real story. The C-Class EV marks the beginning of a new chapter for Mercedes' compact luxury lineup. This is the first MMA car, the test case, the foundation, the one that defines everything that comes after. The CLA EV, the GLA EV, the GLB EV, they'll all stem from this blueprint. And Mercedes is using this model to guide customers into an all-electric future without overwhelming them. It's familiar enough for long-time C-Class fans, but advanced enough to feel like the future. And in a market packed with heavy hitters like the BMW Neue class, Audi A4 e-tron, Tesla Model 3, and Polestar sharp designs, the C-Class EV doesn't try to be the loudest or the flashiest. It tries to be the most refined, the most luxurious, the most Mercedes. And honestly, that's the winning move. Not everyone wants an EV that feels like a tech demo. Some people just want a luxury sedan that glides, whispers, and makes life easier, and this car does that effortlessly. So at the end of the day, here's the truth. The 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class EV is more than an electrified C-Class. It's a major leap into Mercedes' AI-driven electric future. With a premium design that feels timeless, a cabin that pampers you in all the right ways, strong range options, fast charging capability, next-gen software, and a seriously impressive driving experience, this EV is set to redefine what the compact luxury segment should look like. It's the car that bridges the past and the future, the model that shows Mercedes isn't just playing catch-up in the EV world, they're building the roadmap. If Mercedes executes the pricing right and keeps the features competitive, the C-Class EV has everything it needs to become one of the most important electric sedans of the decade. Not the biggest, not the flashiest, but the one that proves luxury, tech, and everyday usability can live in perfect harmony. And that's what makes it a standout. This isn't just a new C-Class. This is the next evolution of Mercedes-Benz. And that wraps up our deep dive on the 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class EV. If you made it all the way to the end, you're a real one. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Premium Car Reviews. We've got plenty more next-gen models coming your way. Make sure you hit that like button, Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling us which 2026 model you want us to break down next. Your suggestions legit shape the next videos, so don't be shy. Catch you in the next one.